in the near infinitely large universe of One Piece. If I would have told you 600 episodes ago that the best fight in One Piece, yeah, Luffy's gonna fight Donut Guy. Honestly, it's Oda, so you have full right to believe me. But come on, you wouldn't believe me. The moment I read this fight in the manga, I was telling everyone it's the best fight in One Piece and one of the best fights in shounen, not to mention the best manga fight in 2018. But we just saw the anime greatness, and yeah, not only is it the best fight of 2019, I'm gonna predict it now, but it's by far my favorite fight in One Piece. Yes, there are many close contenders, and yes, obviously everyone has the right to their own opinion, and if you disagree, that's great. I'm happy that there's something else that you could like to this extent. Me personally, nothing in the entire span of One Piece comes close to Luffy versus Katakuri. This Art of a Fight Scene series that I have been uploading relatively infrequently is always tough to pick a topic on. There's so many great fights in anime that I'd love to eventually cover, and I plan to eventually cover them, but I'm excited to talk about something fresh in all of our minds. In fact, I would like to do Art of the Fight Scene analyses on a lot of relevant-ish fights, so feel free to subscribble if you like this stuff. But in any case, in my personal opinion, before discussing anything that actually goes on the battlefield itself, you gotta understand the philosophy of Katakuri and how it clashes with the philosophy of Luffy. That's what shapes the fight scene. So let's discuss why the main character in this specific fight is actually Katakuri, not Luffy. The playout of the fight scene is definitely Luffy as the show's protagonist, and I will get to how this fight scene affects his entire influence on the world, but let's understand exactly the perspective we're taking as this fight progresses. We're following Luffy's story. Luffy comes into Whole Cake Island, he wants to save his buddy, he's on the run, bumps into Katakuri. This guy's crazy powerful. To sum up his abilities, it's basically Uber Luffy. He's got the gum stuff, except it's also awakened. He's got the Conqueror's Haki, except he also has Premonition Haki. He's got the battle experience, except he's even more experienced than Luffy, to the point that some of Luffy's weaknesses, such as the fact that he only has 2 arms and it leaves him open, he's come up with ways to defend against weaknesses that Luffy didn't even come up with defenses for yet. Luffy is against Das Uber Luffy. And it's important to note, on a pure power scaling level, Luffy is weaker than Katakuri. I put a lot of stress on this point because while Luffy technically beat 2 Yonko commanders at this point, he got help from Nami against Cracker, he got help from Brule against Katakuri, and while it's debatable that he would have still taken either victory without said help, which I believe he very well may have been able to, that strays from the point. If Luffy beats Katakuri right now, that puts Luffy above Yonko Commander tier. That is a level that we cannot place on Luffy's shoulders as of now. Part of why I love power scaling One Piece characters is because of the looming ambiguity. For example, the reason why the wanted posters are so brilliant is that it gives some arbitrary number of how dangerous each character is with their bounty. Generally speaking, if someone's bounty is higher than someone else's, that person is a greater threat to the government and therefore stronger. However, this is not the case at all. It's not a Dragon Ball Scouter where, well, if that guy has 7,000 points and that guy has 9,200 points, which is over 9,000 by the way, Mr. 9,200 will win. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Cybermen. Sorry, Krillin. With the One Piece bounties as a system of scaling characters, it leaves you ambiguous to exactly how powerful each character is. That said, if Luffy were to straight out beat Katakuri, well then Luffy would be above Yonko Commander level. No ambiguity whatsoever. Boom! Now we know how strong Luffy is in comparison to the world. What's great is he does not beat him straight out, and therefore we remain ambiguous as to exactly how powerful Luffy is. But not really, because Katakuri is still stronger than Luffy. It is not ambiguous at all as far as where Luffy stands. He's somewhere in the mid Yonko Commander tier, and that is because the reason why Katakuri lost this fight is not because he was overpowered, and it's not even because Luffy got help. He lost a battle of ideology, which is really what was behind the scenes during this entire Luffy versus Katakuri fight. And when his ideology was crushed, he lost the resolve to stand up once again. Just like me, when I saw that my friend finished the last of my tortilla chips. On a pure power scaling level, it's undeniable that Katakuri is still stronger. But now, I've discussed Luffy's perspective up to this point. Meeting an extremely powerful opponent that he cannot beat on a pure brawn level. And not only that, but this is not a character that affects Luffy in the slightest. His personal character doesn't develop from this fight. He doesn't take away something important about himself. No, the one who takes something important about himself to heart is Katakuri. Katakuri is the main character of this battle, despite all the flashy new forms that Luffy got. In fact, the flashy new forms Luffy got did more of a job job developing Katakuri than it even did Luffy. On Luffy's perspective, hell yeah, he's even stronger now. He has this dope, awesome snake form. It's really cool. And it is! But from Katakuri's perspective, he's looking at the devolved version of himself, and that devolved version of himself is evolving right now faster than even he is. What the hell is going on? Oh, and can I just mention that Luffy having a Rayleigh flashback about his training arc, where he learns Gear 4th and stuff, that's basically the One Piece version of Hashirama cells. Whenever Luffy's in a tough fight, come on, someone, please, trigger a Rayleigh flashback. We need it. It's Luffy's only chance. I love Rayleigh flashbacks. They are so freaking awesome. I know Rayleigh flashbacks always help me when I'm in a pinch. Good thing he trained with Rayleigh for like 2 years. That should give him enough flashbacks to last about at least halfway through Wano. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Looking at this purely from Luffy's perspective is wrong, and you only get half the enjoyment of the battle. Yes, Toei Animation blew my mind with how fantastic the anime made this fight look. Everything the anime added, I approve to completely, which is rare. He got that whole channeling his inner serpent god thing fist to make his punch so cool, as opposed to the manga that it was just like a really fast punch. I thought that was so great. The anime did a stellar job making this fight scene as hype poppy as possible. But as I've said many times in the past, unlike most stories, and unlike most shonen especially, where the world is what molds the main character into what he eventually becomes, One Piece's focus is entirely opposite to that. The focus is on how Luffy, that one little guy from a random village, will mold the world to shape him better. That's why the newspapers are so cool, where everyone in the world can read of Luffy's adventure and how he did something awesome, making everyone far more aware of his presence. Luffy molds the world as opposed to the world molding him. So him changing Katakuri, his ideology or his personality or even his philosophy even slightly, is exactly what his character is set to do. So every fight in One Piece, viewed from Luffy's perspective, is only the smaller part of what is actually going on. Now, what makes this fight a little more unique than most One Piece battles is that the onlooker that's changed the most from this fight itself is the opponent. For the most part, the people that Luffy affects through his fights are onlookers to the battle, like Robin in Enies Lobby, or his entire fleet in Dressrosa. In this case, the development stemmed from his opponent Katakuri. Looking at it from Katakuri's perspective, this is a guy that invaded his homeland, tried to kill his mother, granted failed because Big Mom appears to be half whale shark and half train caboose, so even elephant tranquilizers don't work on the Whammon. Goddamn shonen Whammon. Can't even get assassinated right. Whammon ruin everything in anime. Everything. Anyway, where was I? Right. Katakuri's homeland is being invaded, and he is stopping the invaders. From Katakuri's perspective, he's completely in the right. And you know what? If we were looking at it from a completely outward perspective, granted, it wasn't very nice for Big Mom to capture Sanji, who went of his own accord due to slight blackmail issues. As an impartial onlooker, Katakuri's the good guy, but Luffy breaks the status quo. He goes beyond what's expected of a alleged good guy or crewmate and does something really amazing. Katakuri and Luffy, who are both completely in the right as this fight begins, each are just gunning to win right off the bat. Katakuri knocks Luffy down, and while Luffy's still down, Katakuri doesn't care. This invader bastard will take him out. But after it was revealed that, oh no, he actually lays on the floor and eats, no one saw that coming, and the gears shifted in his mind to make it a more ideological battle when he saw how little his family cared about him once his stoicism was dispelled from their minds. After he knocked Luffy down, he said, come on, let's see what your friendship can do for ya. Get back up. And Luffy did. Luffy got up again and again and again until eventually he used Snake Man and Katakuri was the one that got knocked down. He did not get up again. Now, here's the real battle that was going on, past all the flashy awesomeness that was happening on screen. Luffy is the embodiment of family. He cares about his crew tremendously to the point that he'll invade a Yonko's territory to save his chef, whereas Katakuri embodied a total opposite understanding of what family is. As a kid, everyone made fun of him for his frankly really woke teeth. And that's woke in the good way. And because of this, he decided that a better way to live his life would be for no one to see his mouth. Therefore, no one can see him eat. This placed an invisible barrier between him and his so-called friends and peers. He is not one of them, and he can't consider himself one of them. He'll do everything to become pure badassery in all of their eyes. That is the use of family, to prop you up as an individual. So, no one has ever seen him eat. No one has ever seen him lie on the ground. To his family, Katakuri isn't someone to look up to and try to emulate. He's someone to look up to and revere, knowing that you can never attain that level of perfection and awesomeness. This stoic badass that is Katakuri has a very different understanding of what family means to Luffy. So, when he's fighting Luffy, and Luffy's saying that his strength is coming from his family, he's here for his family, even though they're not blood relatives like Katakuri, who's fighting for his blood relatives. It's not blood that means anything in the world of One Piece. In this fight, Luffy went to show that his non-blood related family is far closer to his art than even Katakuri's blood related family members, who completely lost interest in him and were disgusted in him when they saw him eating and lying down, eating a big donut. Katakuri understands that strength is coming from an individual. Allies are to help you on your path to become a more powerful individual, whereas Luffy is coming from the argument that it's the family itself that makes you strong. You're not an individual, but you are a living, breathing appendage to the family that you attach yourself to. So Luffy, in order to save his family, he'll have the resolve to get up again and again and again to keep fighting Katakuri, even though he's far beyond his limits at this point. Whereas Katakuri, the first time he's knocked down, he doesn't have that resolve to protect his family. He's an individual in the end of the day. So he will lack the resolve to stand up again. And then he'll smile, and then he'll say, wow, Luffy's actually right. Katakuri is developed by miles throughout this arc. He's one of my favorite characters in all of One Piece, and this is by far my favorite fight. It goes to show so many of the themes that are imbibed in the actual story in this little squabble of rubber bastards. Katakuri didn't care about the physical ongoing battle at this point, to the extent that even though technically he's doing this to protect his family and stuff and defeat Luffy and all that, when Luffy was stabbed through the abdomen, he was like, no, if I beat Luffy now, it won't prove that my ideology is any stronger. So he stabs himself through the abdomen to keep the fight even. He needs this fight to be even. So many people were complaining about Katakuri stabbing himself, when literally that is the development of his character. To Katakuri at that point, who was fighting as an individual, he didn't care whatsoever about protecting the Charlottes in comparison to winning the ideological fight. We will be seeing Katakuri again. And being that he has Conqueror's Haki, as well as a very altered philosophy, fam, next time we see him, he will not be the Katakuri that we remember. He'll either be a far more formidable opponent on the same team as his family, he'll either be leading his own crew, being that he does have Conqueror's Haki, surpassing even Big Mom, or he may be an unexpected ally. He lost the ideological fight, and that's really what was going on here all along. If you want to see my take on Katakuri's personal philosophy as a character analysis as opposed to a fight analysis, link to my Katakuri video in the description that I released back in the days of yore when the manga came out. Still kind of holds up though. Still pretty proud of that video. Also, Whammon and Gentle Whammon, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe for future Art of a Fight Scene videos or other analyses, be it One Piece or other anime. I need to do a lot more One Piece videos. Oh, do I have a plethora of plans. Link in the description to my Twitter. Feel free to follow me there. To my merch, feel free to pick some up. To the Rant Cafe YouTube and Twitch channels where we stream and upload podcasts. Definitely check that stuff out. As well as to my Patreon. All patrons are invited to the Discord server, and I especially wanted to thank Sash, King Tank Games, Praise Lord Bobo, Frisky Dingo Florida Man, D Chilling, Miriam Ramirez, Q, Praise Lord Dugirugameshub, Nate, Gremin, Philippe Bright, Sergeant Malarkey, Buried Minotaur, Kaiser Wanar, Crazy Beat, Divine Reigns, Miku, Tea Kui, TM Philly, King Beat My Meat, David A. Null, Sage of Snake, Steelers, Pop-Up, Grumpy Welshman, Wilson Fletcher, Team Sparky 65, Lazy Ronin, Girthy Worm Jim, Allison Stricker, JD Fincher, Cosine Pit Shifters, Elaser, Delore Tweegers, Measy Jeezy, Anthony Booth, Cream My Pancake, Prella Rari, MD, Santo Kiyomasa, James Patterson, Emperor Misha, and Kyle the Warrior. I wanted to thank the God Usopp Rank, Burning Bush, Dark Element, Eduardo Flores, Pooh Zerker, The Wolf of Gar, Muafak, Necro, Sunny Parks, and Maurice Louis Dreyfus, and thank you Shane Harden for having Hashirama cells. And I guess Rayleigh flashbacks. Ladies and gentlemen, Whammon and Gentle Whammon of all ages, thank you so much for watching until this point. I greatly appreciate it. Definitely check out all those links in the description. Have yourselves the most wonderful evening. Katakuri's a freaking boss, one of my favorite One Piece characters and anime characters ever. I love him! Thank you for giving me another chance to make another video on him, and stay weird, fam.